Girl, I'ma tell you this one more time. Cause apparently, you don't know how I really feel.
It ain't good.
No, fingers ain't for booty holes. No, that's one place that they don't go.
I thought you was a real man.
No, fingers ain't for booty holes. I don't care what you did with your last man.
You might like it.
No, fingers ain't for booty holes. No, that's one place that they don't go. No.
Cause P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no.
Even the animals are acting strange and looking for something. We'll come right back to that. This behind me is just for attention. It has nothing to do with the video. Completely irrelevant. Is there anyone else in the Midwest and on the East Coast that has not been able to sleep for 3 nights in a row? I saw in the comments there are many of us. So if you're going through it, you're not alone. I'm really clueless to what's going on, and we've been having these geomagnetic crazy massive storms showing the aurora down in South Carolina every single month for a year straight. And before this, never, very rare. Now, why are all the sheep on these solar panels in the middle of a field? It seems like they're looking for something that the solar panels, seem to collect. And look at this overcast. Even when the sun's out and it's a blue sky and there's no clouds at all or anything, it's almost like there's a 24/7 haze that wasn't there when I was a kid. This video is also for attention. Look at these cool clouds, you guys. I believe that this video and this video were taken on the same day. But I'll tell you what, if I don't sleep for another whole night, I'm gonna lose my freaking mind. Oh, and by the way,
how much sleep do we need?
There are a few genetic outliers that can get away with 4 hours of sleep. And they don't feel tired. They roll like that. Do you know the operative community self-selects for those people?
No, I didn't. How do they do that?
Fascinating. I had a sleep neuroscientist on my podcast. She is still active duty. And that was one of the topics that we covered. That, in terms of how much sleep we need, the average person probably needs 7 to 8 hours. There's a range, whether it's 6 to 8. And then there's a handful of people that function amazing because of a genetic mutation on 4 or so hours. And it doesn't seem to have the negative implications.
No kidding.
Yeah. You're probably one of those people.
Well, that makes me happy to hear, because I can't sleep.
Oh. Are you joking?
Stop playing with me, boy. I'm gonna tell you this one time.
Oh shit.
I already explained to your man, I'm not him.
Oh shit.
I'm really not.
Oh, I bet.
Ass.
Yo, I was just trying to get jiggy with you.
I don't know, you trying to be funny for content.
What?
But that's how niggas get knocked the f out.
Bro,
right?
That's
now, did I explain this to you?
You told him, yo, he's
That's how
wild.
real it is. I'm not violent, I'm telling you, stop playing so much.
He didn't say you was violent. He said you wildin', because you just could have stole on them, and these young kids don't even realize that. You playing with somebody who did 20 at 20. You might not live to see 20.
Bro.
All right.
Life is real, stop playing, bro.
All right, Brody. Oh, now we are.
Man, in good old days, you cannot stare a woman down like that anymore. Who knows what will happen to you? And good thing you made the live stream, because this is going to be edited out. But you got to see it right now. So you want to make my live streams when you see them. It's not really a schedule. Except late night. I can't sleep. Like the guy in the last couple of clips said he can't sleep. Is it because of 5G? I don't know. They really are pushing these foldable phones that are 5G.
I'm literally crying over my nails right now. Because they're so ugly. Oh my god, okay. This is what I wanted, okay? This is the pastels. And this is what I got. And this is what I got.
I was about to say it looks really good. So good on you, mate, that you got one that wasn't $4,000.
LA is really not a real place, because why did this man just ask me for some money to get some food? So I gave him like $15. Immediately after, proceeds to ask me if I'm single.
Because you chicks be liking bums. The modern day woman likes a bum so she can feel like she's over him. Like, these girls wouldn't mess with me because you can't feel over me because I work. That's why. And you cute. And he's a man at the end of the day.
You don't even have money for a meal and you're worried about if I'm single?
Well, he got the $15 that you gave him. Isn't that how it goes? You loan the guy your car. He drives around, picks up his ex-girlfriend or some other thought, and then he drops her off and he comes to pick you up from work. We saw it in Baby Boy. That was a documentary. Don't act like that's not what you like. Give me a break, shorty.
I think your priorities are a little messed up.
Mark Zuckerberg just admitted what we all knew in his antitrust trial. Meta was terrified of TikTok. In fact, Meta classified TikTok as a highly competitive threat when it first came out in 2018, specifically because Meta's growth slowed down dramatically, in the words of Mark Zuckerberg. Man, this antitrust trial has been the gift that keeps on giving. In fact, stopping TikTok has been a top priority for Meta for the past several years. Now, let's just stop right there. This proves what I often say about these large tech companies. They are not innovative. Meta had every advantage going for it, and it still couldn't beat TikTok. It had all the users. It already hired the best engineers in the US.
But we've seen the movie The Social Network. You know, we know that Mark Zuckerberg reportedly didn't like that movie, but at the same time, people said he went to it and sat in the back. We saw him there. That's what I remember hearing. Maybe the media was lying. But if you believe parts of that movie or that whole movie altogether, you stole the idea from the, what's it called? The Winklevoss. You did your nerdy whatever, but the whole thing was, it was their idea, and you kind of like, you know, workshopped it. It ain't like you thought of it out of your own head. So, of course you're not innovative. We already knew that.
3, it had a home court advantage being based in the US as a US company. Both US citizens and the government were likely to be on Meta's side. And 4th, it had super brilliant CEO Mark Zuckerberg at its helm, who, we're told, comes up with innovative ideas and would never steal from anybody. And despite all of those advantages, Meta still failed to beat TikTok. And since it couldn't buy TikTok, it had to ban it instead. Mark, for losing a competition where you had every advantage and then moving to ban the competition once you lost, you just made the D3 list, a podcast about dumb death.
But hold up, that's the American way. I mean, that's what what's my guy, Thomas Edison? He was doing that, beating people up. If you go was that around the same time in history? Remember the not the mobsters, but like the unions, the corporations. That's why they started the union, because the corporation would just hire a bunch of thugs to knock people upside the head if you tried to protest and all this type of stuff. Right?
For the diabolical business decisions.
Why there'll never be flying cars? We already have flying cars. They're called helicopters. They have to create a downward thrust of air equal to its own weight. If you're going to have a flying car, that's what it's going to have to do. They're noisy. They completely disrupt the terrain wherever they fly. So the issue is not that you want a flying car. You want to travel in that third dimension. We already do that. They're called tunnels. They're called bridges. When you have a huge intersection, you don't move people through one another. You build one road over the other. You build one road under the other. You are exploiting 3 dimensions so that traffic can go in perpendicular directions simultaneously. That's what the flying cars would have given you. But we do that at intersections. New York City has done this. You're in the streets, there's too many cars, you can't move. Let's move in the third dimension. Let's build a subway.
This sounds like a guy who's trying to sell me something
I'm telling
that's
you.
better than a flying car.
Oh, TikTok doesn't look so bad now, does it? Our friend Marky Mark might be forced to shut down Instagram and WhatsApp soon. In another landmark antitrust trial, words we're all so familiar with these days, that commenced just this Monday, the CEO of Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, faces divesting Instagram and WhatsApp because the FTC believes that Meta acquired them because they view them as an existential threat. also known as buying out your competition. And this all leads me to an interesting observation in the real estate world right now after their landmark antitrust lawsuit, with all the mergers and acquisitions happening with Rocket Mortgage buying Mr. Cooper, which is the largest mortgage servicer, right after they made a deal to buy Redfin. Are we going to see the FTC bring some of these cases against these massive companies that are merging and acquiring potential?
Probably not. We're probably not going to see that. And we shouldn't expect to see that. You know, it's the world has turned into the WWF. Pardon me, the WWE. The worldwide entertainment field. It's entertainment. And they're doing what they're doing, I believe, to distract us. If you can make some money off of the distraction, through the distraction, as long as it's legal, I say do it. But that's me. I'm a hustler. Some of y'all are hustlers too. Let's hustle.
Potential competition, and are consumers going to be signing massive amounts of paperwork with affiliated business disclosures because one company owns every one of them that they're going to be using in a transaction to buy the home, get the mortgage for the home, and then service that mortgage for the home, let alone close the home, have title insurance on the home? It all seems very anti-competitive. We shall see.
What if Ferris Bueller is stuck in a time loop a la Groundhog Day? The theory is that this legendary day off isn't his first and that it's actually one of hundreds, maybe even thousands of the exact same day over and over again. And Ferris has been perfecting it all this time. We're just in the middle of this. Think about it. Every move is calculated. He builds Rube Goldberg machines that just fool his parents. He hacks the school system, outsmarts a high-end maitre d', and keeps dodging Rooney like a chess master. The guy even catches a foul ball at Wrigley Field, sitting in the perfect seat, and lands a performance on a parade float. This isn't luck. This is mastery, trial and error, years of practice, which, by the way, is exactly what he says when his parents ask how he got so perfect. Years of practice. And remember when he breaks the fourth wall and says, this is the part where Cameron goes berserk? He doesn't sound like he's guessing. Sounds like he knows, and he's
counterpoint. It's a movie. It could be that it's a movie. Is that a cool theory too? It's a Hollywood production.
Remembering like he's seen it before. And remember, Sloan even says, you knew what you were doing when you woke up this morning. He sure did. He's been running this morning over and over and over. His obsession with Sloan starts to make more sense. The secretary says they're newly dating, but Ferris talks like they've been together for years. Maybe to him, they have been. He's not fearless because he's cool. He's fearless because failure doesn't matter. If it all falls apart, no problem.
And that's what confidence is. And that's what girls like. A guy who looks at it like this. He may not really look at it like that, but he just moves like that. Girls like confidence. That's why girls like bad boys, because bad boys have what women think is confidence. Mystery solved, ladies.
Just resets.
Did vampires come from the Nephilim?
Well, vampires are real in the occult. Dracula is a more modern type of the literature that's going to hold the belief system and their history within it. So you have, Dracula, for example, as the son of a dragon. It goes back to Greek for drakont and drakonta, which means watcher, as in watcher angel. It's everywhere. People just don't recognize the links of it. And of course, the giants, both before and after the flood, and secret societies probably at that level even today, would drink blood. And they were drinking blood to extend their life after Genesis 6:3, shorten all lifespan to 120 years. And they also used it secondarily to provide additional cognitive.
Speaking of drinking blood, I believe there's a verse in the Bible that says that's among the forbidden foods. You can't drink blood. You can't eat like a dead animal carcass that's just laying there. And there's some other stuff. Why would the Bible say you can't drink blood? That's interesting.
Abilities. And so they preyed on humans not only to eat them before the flood, but to drink their blood. And then after the flood, they had to do things a little bit more in secrecy, as they were needing humankind to survive because they had a fertility issue after the flood.
What's something in your life you still can't believe happened?
The airplane crash.
You were in a crash?
No, I fell in love with a man and couldn't have him because I was married. 3 years later, I got a telephone call. This is Cabin Airlines. Your husband just died in a crash. And so I was able to marry my beloved 3 months.
She looks like a witch. She looks like a witch. I believe the reason she can't believe that it happened because she did this spell and she was like, oh, magic really works. But she got repaid by looking like a witch. Teeth look like beat up piano keys. Was it worth it? To her, probably it was.
Later.
Look at them teeth.
Where'd you guys meet? High school. Yeah. Sweethearts, are you still in high school? Still in high school. Oh, okay. Senior year? How long you guys been together? 3 years. Okay, wow. So you know this is going to end.
First of all, she's way better than him. I'm surprised that they're even together. Or should I be surprised? Because the modern day woman likes guys who are beneath her. Financially, emotionally, mentally. They like those types of guys. If you have daughters and you've like kind of watched your daughters watching the Barbie movie and different Barbie cartoons and productions, Ken is always real stupid, like an airhead, a ditz. Barbie is already the trope ditzy blonde, but he's even stupider than her. I didn't realize that they're kind of brainwashing our kids. They're like grooming our kids to think this is the body standard that you should have. And also grooming the kids to think that, well, boys are just dumb. Look at Ken. I'm saying all that to say she's better looking than he is. Let's keep going a little bit further.
6 months. Look at, she's like, oh my, are you kidding me? But there's college coming up. Are you guys going to the same college? No, it's over. That's it. Believe me, I've been there. The fall.
Let's bring it back so you can get the full. I'm gonna talk about it at the end.
I got a telephone call. This is Cabin Airlines. Your husband just died in a crash. And so I was able to marry my beloved 3 months later.
Where'd you guys meet? High school. Yeah. Sweethearts, are you still in high school? Still in high school. Oh, okay. Senior year? How long you guys been together? 3 years. Okay, wow. So you know this is going to end in 6 months. Look at, she's like, oh my, are you kidding me? But there's college coming up. Are you guys going to the same college? No, it's over. That's it. Believe me, I've been there. The fall is gonna come. He's gonna go his way. She's gonna, but they're still gonna, we're gonna try and, we're gonna make it work. I'm gonna come see you every month. I promise, Jimmy. I could just see the phone call the first day. Hey, Kenzie, what's going on? Nothing, just all the guys do not compare to you. I'm so glad we're together, right? She's like, how's it going there? He's like, no, it's fucking awful without you. There's some bikini party tonight that I'm supposed to go to. Can you believe it? Girls are gonna be wearing bikinis at a foam party at the...
Even though she was better looking than him, if he has confidence, like I told y'all earlier, I spilled a little bit of knowledge to y'all. It won't matter how good she looks or how bad he doesn't look to other people, because his confidence is something that girls don't have. Girls don't have a confident guy's level of confidence. A woman can be confident, but you just weren't equipped with that level of confidence. It's like the speed on a phone. Your phone does not even come with a pre-installed program to make it fast like that. You know, you're confident to like for a woman's standards, and don't take that as a diss. That's just the way God made you, so be mad at him, which is probably why you're a tarot card girl, because you are mad at God. But don't take it out on me because I didn't make you. Don't make me over. I didn't do it. So if he has confidence, it won't matter. And his confidence and his ability to make other girls want to be around him, because all these women want a piece of that confidence. They want to be around a guy with that kind of confidence, which is, like I said, women think bad boys have confidence. He's just a jerk. You know, he's a, what do you call these guys? He's just a bad seed. He doesn't necessarily have confidence. He, was molested as a child. And women think that's confidence. So as long as he has that confidence and other women want to be around that confidence, she won't go nowhere. I've told you, I'm 18 with 50 years of experience. This is what I've seen in my travels. You leave it in the comments and tell me what you've seen in your travels. Does that make sense? Have you seen that? Are you one of these guys? Are you one of these girls who likes one of these guys? Wow. Look at Pistol Pete doing stuff that, this is before Jordan LeBron was even born. Or they definitely were still kids. Look at them passes. They're showing you that these guys in this most skilled era are doing the stuff that Pistol Pete was doing in the 70s. And when he was doing that, the NBA said he's too flashy.
It's water resistant, so you don't have to worry about accidental spills. With a top-notch screen, offers an immersive visual experience.
It's different now that they're pushing these phones. And if you can see that little print up there about 82%, that says 5G. They've been talking about 5G for some years.
Powerful performance core ensures smooth operation, and its extraordinary imaging capabilities let you capture every moment vividly.
Are there any drugs in this house?
If there
Put that down for a second.
If there are, you better find them and give them to me immediately. No, they're not.
No drugs in the house right now?
Not that I know about. If I know about them, I'll find them and throw them away. It's not a big deal. Ooh, drugs in the house. We're all gonna die.
Absolutely, let's break down Ryan Coogler's deal on Sinners, and you will see why some studio executives are saying, this is the end of Hollywood. Just FYI, this was originally covered in Vulture, but this AV Club article doesn't have a paywall, and it's kind of paraphrasing the other one. So, the deal that Ryan Coogler struck when he sold the Sinners package, it is being called unorthodox. Some anonymous Hollywood types were willing to call it very dangerous and that it could be the end of the studio system. So they set the scene here. Coogler was fresh off 2 franchises, Creed and 2 Black Panther films, when he decided to shop around this Michael B. Jordan project. And I remember when this happened, it was like very mysterious package. But that package came with basically a list of requirements. Like, we will only sell you this movie if blank. The article notes that some of these were very big asks, but not outside the realm of possibility for a guy currently writing a series of major box office wins. The first thing he asked for was final cut of the film. This is something that directors often try to get. It's hard to get in the studio system, and the higher the budget, the harder it is to get. This film was made for $90 million. He also asked for first dollar gross. This means that Coogler starts getting a portion of the film's profits from the moment it opens, rather than having to wait for the studio to make back its money first, which is...
That's dope. Pardon me. As a hustler, let's say somebody fronts you something. Let's say they give you 500 phones to sell, right? They front that to you. Some dudes, the first few phones they sell, like all the phones they sell, they'll like save that money, and like the shorts come out of your money. Let's say you sell a phone, you try to give somebody a discount or whatever like that. The shorts come out of your money. You got to give this person, let's say you're gonna make, let's say 15,000 off of these phones, probably more than that. You're probably gonna make 25,000 off of these phones. What I say, 500 phones? You're gonna make 50,000 out of these phones. You got to give this person 30,000, and then you keep the 20,000. A lot of people would, the shorts come out of your 20,000. You got to give him his whole 30,000. Me and other hustlers, I would start spending my money right away. I would start collecting it. You know what I'm saying? Like the first phone I sell, that's my $5,000. You know what I mean? Unless this person happens to run across me and be like, yo, you know, this and this and that, I'll probably give him some money just before he even asks me any questions. Yo, son, what's good? What you doing over here? Oh, man, I just was in the neighborhood. No, word? Well, here, let me give you this right here. He'll like, oh, what is this? They was, you know, they always left me alone because they wasn't even expecting any money until, like, you know, they don't expect you to be done with the phones like the next day. They don't expect that. They think it's going to take a while and stuff like that and everything like that. So that's dope that Ryan Coogler was able to do that.
The norm. The really biggie though, and this one is huge, is that he wanted ownership of the film to revert to him after 25 years. This is also something that is incredibly rare, especially for films that clearly are going to spawn a franchise. And they do mention some other people here. They say Mel Gibson owns The Passion of the Christ. Richard Linklater has partial ownership of Boyhood, which I didn't know, but that makes sense. Tarantino will get Once Upon a Time in Hollywood back in a couple decades. But here's the most interesting part. So the reasoning why Coogler said that he did this says the reason is rooted at least in part of Sinners' focus on themes of black artists' ownership of their own culture. If you have seen the film, this makes so much sense that, like, if you tried to fight him on this, I don't see how your argument couldn't be anything other than racist and incapable of understanding what the movie's about. But of course, you also have this practical element, which is like he is generating massive original material that is so sure to spawn a franchise. Warner Brothers loves, they've taken Dune, turned that into a TV show. I strongly feel, especially because the world is so lived in already, that Sinners will be a TV show and they're going to make a sequel. And it is interesting, right? Because we don't know what Hollywood will even look like in 25 years. Will it even exist still? But we also know that franchise.
I don't think it'll exist in the way that we've been accustomed to for the past 100 years, but I think it will still be there. We need Hollywood to lie to our visions, tell our vision. And the wood of is from the holly tree. And that wood that sorcerers would use, witches, Merlin, when they would cast their spells, they're like Harry Potter, his wand. Well, traditionally, it was made from the wood of a holly tree. So it's just, and I know we all knew that. I'm just saying that to say Hollywood will still be here because they still need to cast spells on people. It's a broad cast. They're casting spells on us, even in our spelling of words, you know, and words are curses. You can speak curses on yourself. You can speak curses to people. We know that within Christianity. I'm not sure if the Jews know that, but I would imagine they know it because Jews, Christians, and Muslims, they're branches from the same tree, aren't they? That's why I say I can't discredit any one of their holy books. I can't discredit the Jews' books, what Moses came with. I can't discredit Jesus, what he came with. And I can't discredit Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, what he came with. Because Jesus said, after me, there will be a comforter. Now, people have told me when I was young that comforter was the Holy Spirit, but the Holy Spirit was already here. That's right. That's what I interpreted. So he was talking, and Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, he came 600 years after Jesus, you know? Think about that. So they're going to need to cast spells on people. Hollywood will be here still, just not in the way that we've all been accustomed to it.
Especially genre franchises, vampire franchises, like they never die. Now, in terms of the whole, like, we are freaking out because the deal was so good to the creator, I think it's ridiculous. And there's a reason why those quotes are anonymous. Anyway, go see Sinners this weekend, support original film. As my friend BJ Colangelo pointed out when she did a press junket for this film, we have seen black vampires before, but those movies are often not made by black filmmakers. But also, everything else aside, the movie just rips. So why are you watching?
That's what I heard. I heard it was a good movie. And actually, I think I did something on it. I was like watching a scene from it. It's the first time I saw the scene, and I broke it down. I was telling you guys, like, yo, we do this a lot within my community. My people be doing this. This was dope. So from that little part I saw, I wanted to see the movie. I think it's very interesting. Ryan Coogler, he's a very, seems like he's a very intelligent writer-director, just period. And anyone who can do something different and entertain us, it's like the world is so oversaturated with everything. if you can find something that entertains you, it's like, wow. This is one of the reasons I say these girls are so boring, because they're not entertaining. This. Luckily, y'all are here in my chat. Y'all are entertaining. Too bad you guys live across the world. You live in Scotland. You live in, you know. If you lived over here, y'all probably would be over here like that. You know what I mean? Just, you probably, because I don't really want people all around in my house like that, but y'all probably would.
This, go see it.
I just found out that half the people that buy Arya Kitia's OF movies are girls.
I don't know who that person is, but why are you shocked?
Well, again, this is the Holly. This is the spell that they've casted on society. I remember I was talking to this Unnie before. I was telling her, she wanted me to sign up for some program. I was like, nah, this and this and that. Listen, they got they've got traps for different people. And Unnie is a Korean woman that's older than you. So she's like, out of respect, you don't call her by her name, you call her Unnie in the Korean culture. And they do that with everybody that's older than them. I said, they got traps for people. And she kind of like scoffed a little bit, but she was like kind of being polite. I said, they got a trap for you. Your trap ain't the same as my community's trap. Oh, they got a trap for you. You think you're going to be, and before I could finish talking, she was like, she started thinking about it. Because I don't know what trap they have for Korean people, but she knows. That being said, this is the trap for women. Yeah, LGBTQ, you're attracted to this OnlyFans girl. She's a girl. You like the female gaze too. You like the female body too. Absolutely. Because they put a spell on you, you thinking that it's only men. Or are you capping and you really know the truth? Like the Bop House, that's women that's mad at the Bop House, but for a totally different reason. Let's keep going though.
Everyone is overly freaked out. You thought it was just the men? I shouldn't say everyone, but this is the highest degree of freakery, open freakery, that there has ever been in a society at any given point. Well, maybe not every society. Yeah, them folks in Greece were absolutely overly freaky. But we're up there. You thought men could carry the crown alone? No, this is a shared effort. But I'm not going to lie, I am actually a little shocked because paying for it is outrageous. That is just extreme levels of down bad. But I knew this society was overly freaky just based off of the numbers that I was hearing for these OF models. I remember a year after that Catch Me Outside girl jumped off the internet porch, people came back and said she made 50 million. I said 50 million? Do you guys mean 500,000? Because that's a lot of money. Do you guys mean like 5.5 mil? 50 million? Who are these people? Who's paying in such large sums of money? Society is overly freaked. I'm not surprised. Okay.
There's all kinds of people that's paying for that content. There's incels. You know what incel, it means involuntarily celibate. These people are attractive. They're not incels because they can't get nobody. They're incels because they don't trust themselves around anybody. You know, they're weirdos. This dude might have cleaned up the back part of his house, and you know, I got this black screen over here and stuff like this. It could look like total garbage behind here. But this is the world that we live in now. You know, I don't know what's underneath this red cap. It could be, you know, a hairline that's going all the way back here. It could be some nice braids. Shout out to hip hop culture. We turned this into like a little fashion hat. You know what I'm saying? But in this time that we live in, it's kind of like do what thou wilt. We're in the stages of do what thou wilt. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. And, you know, we're just alive to see it. It should strengthen your faith. It's nothing to be afraid of. It should be like, oh, wow, so there really is a God. There really is a devil. Oh, wow. But some people, maybe it doesn't strengthen your faith. It makes you more scared. And it can be scary, but if you take hold of, you know, God's hand, and if you're here listening to this, that wasn't a coincidence. My man Chris says, what a coincidence. It's not a coincidence you was here, you know. Can't sleep at night, and you wonder why. Maybe God is Well, no, that's probably not what's happening. You just can't sleep. Cut down on the caffeine. That's probably what it is.
Okay, it's a concerted effort. Everyone is freaked out. Anyway, thank you for watching.
Here's the chorus. Oh my love. A thousand kisses from you is love too much. I just wanna
Have you seen all the men being wrongfully sent to El Salvador? Yeah, where are the women? What are they doing with them? Have you heard anything about that? Where are they?
Stop worrying, guys. China could not win this trade war against the US because it boils down to one simple fact. America is the buyer, China is the seller.
America isn't the only buyer, mate. The world's pretty big. I know you guys think you are the only ones on it. Just letting you know, you're not.
Breaking: Chinese shopping apps have skyrocketed to the top of the App Store. There are now 2 Chinese apps in the top 5 in the Apple App Store. At number 2 is DH-Gate. It's a Chinese retailer with offices around the globe. And DH stands for the Chinese Dunhuang. Now the second, sitting comfortably at number 4, is Taobao. Taobao is a really popular e-commerce platform in China, and it has close to 1 billion users. It looks like it's set to get millions more now that it's sitting at the top of the App Store in the US. Taobao is owned by Alibaba, one of the largest and most successful companies in China. Oh, and what the hell is Threads doing at number 3? Anyway, as I keep saying, when will the US ever learn? All of these bans and tariffs keep backfiring in China's favor because no one would have ever found out about these sites if not for this entire trade and tariff conflict. This was the best marketing that these companies could have ever asked for, and they got it for free.
What if I told you certain TV shows are there to program us to accept our future, not warn us, not predict it, but prepare us to normalize it? People love to say shows like Mirror are dystopian warnings, like, whoa, that would be awful if it ever happened. But here's the thing. Your brain doesn't treat it as a warning. It treats it as a dress rehearsal. You know, you see the tech, you see the society around it, and even if it creeps you out, a part of your subconscious gets used to it. Familiarity. And that familiarity becomes acceptance. They've been doing this for decades. Just before the moon landing, they pumped out the first big sci-fi films all about space travel, rockets, astronauts, even landing on the moon. Then, suddenly, we're watching it happen on live TV, and it feels normal. Not shocking, because we already saw it. Not in real life, but on screen. And our minds made peace with it there first. The same thing's happening now. You watch some guy in a show rewinding his memories with a chip behind his ear, and you think, okay, that's futuristic. But then Apple or Neuralink rolls out something similar, and suddenly it's not sci-fi. It's just the next update. You're not being warned, you're being prepped. So the next time you're watching something that feels a little too possible, just ask yourself, are they entertaining you or are they rehearsing you? I'm gonna go ahead and say this is just a joke for entertainment purposes.
Right there. What's that? Circle it. Right there. What is that? Something I don't want to be a part of.
a woman ever recover from being an OF
never
model?
No.
What?
Absolutely not.
But she changed her life,
I don't
Sarah.
care.
She found God, Sarah.
Well, okay. Let me reiterate. Can she recover? Yes. Will she have the best options of high value, high earning masculine men? No.
But
it doesn't matter.
She's abstinent.
She sold her body on the internet.
She's abstinent
People
now.
have seen her busted, spread wide open.
She
There's no way.
She dressed modestly now.
What is modest when you've seen it all?
She is a member of the PTA, Sarah.
I love that for her. Ladies, we have to do a better job of measuring the consequences of our actions in the now. Now, although femininity deeply lives in the now, we also have to be mindful of what's going to happen in our future. If you decide to be ran through, if you decide to have an OF, if you decide to do adult entertainment industry, you are disqualifying yourself from a certain type of man.
This behavior, pardon me, has been normalized in this society, and that's why it's creepy. Being a tarot card girl has been normalized. Doing witchcraft has been normalized. The Witches of Waverly Place, they show that on Disney Channel. It's been normalized. It all goes together because men want to be with women because you're starting a family with a woman. Women want to be with men because you're starting a family with a man. Men are being told you don't have to be accountable. Look at your king, LeBron James. He's not accountable. It's not his fault. It's somebody else's fault. But it was always Michael Jordan's fault. It was never Scottie Pippen's fault. And that's the real way it is for us men. It's never you guys in the chat. It's not your fault if I don't make a good product. It's my fault. It's not my wife's fault if I don't make a good product. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't work like that for men. It never has. And it never will. That's a part of the spell that they're casting. That's the creepy part. When you decode everything that we've been taught is a lie. They taught feminism to all of us and said, this is good. This is what women want. And married women said, no, we don't want that. But the voices of the married women who are happy was drowned out. That's a part of the spell that was cast on people. And I like to laugh about it because if you don't laugh, you'll go insane and probably unalive yourself, but you gotta laugh at it. You know what I'm saying? And no, you can't come back from doing all that stuff. That's why you got a short window as a woman to find your husband. This guy he's your covering, he's your protection. And then when y'all have children, nobody loves mommy and grandma more than the children and the grandchildren. People like Pop, but grandma, mommy, there's a special kind of love that the entire family has for her. And you as a modern day woman, you've been allowed, you've allowed these people to cheat you out of that. Now you're lonely. You're never going to have that gap filled in your heart by a bunch of random men who are paying you to take your top off. That's why you're even having a conversation now, 30 years later. Can a woman recover from that? Duh. I ain't saying duh to you, dear viewer. Y'all already know that. That's why y'all come here. I'm talking about these dudes who stumble here on this channel from their other favorite Creepy Talker channel. It's not even other YouTubers because we all watch YouTube. YouTube is the new TV. This is the new cable. People who do Creepy Talks specifically, it's not the Creepy Talkers. Shout out to them. It's their audience. Their audience is morons. And I got a Gen Z audience. There's some I got a Gen X audience. There's some Gen Zers in here. There's some millennials, but primarily my audience is Gen X. And we were taught by the boomers. So we basically look at life the same way they do. And then us Gen Xers, your kids who are Gen Z, millennials, even Gen Alpha, like I got a 13-year-old, she's a Gen Alpha, but they were taught and trained by us Gen Xers. You see what I'm saying? And that's really how society was. Each one teach one. Like I said before, Granddad, how did you do that? Can you tell us how you did it? That's why we're Generation X, because the powers that be said we're tired of adults. That's what the X stands for. No more adults. And after us, none of these adults, they're not adults. They don't know how to adult. They don't know how to balance a checkbook. They don't know how to clean their houses. They don't know how to groom themselves. They don't know how to wash themselves. But that's all by design. That's the creepy part. What do you mean they designed that? When did they start making this plan? How? How is that even possible? How could these people even carry that plan on generation after generation? How? Because it's not really their plan. That's why they want you to worship the devil. It's the devil's plan. That's a little bit too much. Let's get back to these hoes trying to get back to their virginity.
You're disqualifying yourself from certain types of opportunities and experiences. Now, that being said, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want and you want to be a bad bee and you want to be out here living your best life, doing all bad all by yourself, do you, boo? But I promise you, in the future, you will look back and you will regret the decisions that you made. It is not worth it.
So,
yeah,
hold on.
Come on.
Got to play devil's advocate here.
I love devil's advocate.
So what about the men? Why is it that
it's a double standard?
Oh, why is it?
Yeah.
Like a man's confidence.
Hold up. It's always a double standard. Women and children first. A man, you can't leave. You can't leave as a man. You got to stay here and fight this blaze. You don't care about the double standard when it's women and children first. So stop the cap. That's why it's always your fault as the man. It's your fault if you can't do it. It's not the next man's fault because I can do it. You know, the guys in my audience, they can do it. They were tasked with doing. Isn't that what God said? Your punishment for biting the apple is you got to go out in the field and work. Your punishment for biting the apple is you got to bear the burden of childbirth, right? So you want to take on the curse of the other gender? She don't got it no better. You telling me you're not a man no more? Now you're a woman? You think she got it better than men? And the women, oh, I'm a man now. You think we got it better than you? You don't want to be a man because it's frozen out here. It's cold. You can't survive being a man. Some of us men can't survive being a man. So you absolutely can't survive. Well, what are you talking about? You know, that's the spell that they cast on you. That's the creepy part. You know what I'm saying? It's insane. So there's always been a double standard. I mean, man was created first. That's a double standard. Why wasn't I created first? Eve was created from man. Man was created from dirt, not from Eve. It's a double standard there. You know, Adam was closer to God than Eve was. Just for the fact he was created first. But let's keep going.
Is defined by how many women he break down in his bed.
Why?
No, he's not. You sound stupid. You don't know enough about men. Men are defined by, do you have a job? Not do you have women. We work so that we can support ourselves. You got to be able to lead yourself as a man first and foremost. If you can't lead yourself, then you're not even qualified to have a woman. You're not qualified to have kids because we know you can't lead them, right? So you got to be able to lead yourself first and foremost. In you leading yourself, that energy is going to make women attracted to you like a magnet. You're going to have to be beating them away. You got to really stay focused on your grind to not do anything with a whoa man. Whoa man. All you got to do is stay on your square and the women will just come at you. You don't even have to look at them. And I'm not sure that women even understand that. So now amongst us men, later, after you have proven you can fight, you can handle yourself, you can provide for yourself. Now you have women will come at you. It's like, you know, why you don't got a girl? You's a 58-year-old bachelor. Why you don't got a wife already? Men get questioned too. Why you haven't settled down with a wife? That's not even women ask. That's other men. Why you not married yet, bro? You got to answer questions as a guy.
Does the sun come up in the east and go down in the west?
Because God made it that way.
Why do the stars sparkle?
But that's God's
law. Why is the sky blue even though it's not blue? Why? I don't ask those questions. It is a double standard. We can't sit here and pretend like we are the same as men. We're not. We're not. We can't wash men off. Period. No, I need you to hear me. We cannot wash men off. Mm-hmm. There will always be a remnant of the men that we've been with inside of our bodies for life. So if you are just filled with all of these different people, you know how many different soul ties, demon spirits you got in your body?
But so do men though.
No, men can wash us off.
No.
What do you mean no?
I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Because you sound like you're befuddled.
We are incubators and they are the whatever.
Penetrators. That's what they are. It's a sport, especially for certain types of men. And for us to sit here and act like we could be just like men, that's wild to me. I can't even fathom that.
I'm not.
That's not who she was talking to, or is this her with a different kind of hair? I don't know.
I don't want the club no more. I want Jesus. I don't want the bar no more. I want Jesus. I don't want to just get high no more. I want Jesus. I don't want toxic relationships no more. I want Jesus.
Jesus don't want you, shorty. This is a thirst trap, veiled.
Have you ever wondered why vampires
Jesus.
need to be invited in? This question has puzzled many, and today we dive into the mystery. Imagine a creature so powerful, yet bound by simple manners. The invitation rule is more than folklore. It touches on themes of consent and power. In ancient times, the threshold of a home was sacred, a barrier against evil. By requiring an invitation, vampires respect this boundary, symbolizing the balance between power and vulnerability. But what if this rule is broken? Some tales suggest dire consequences for both the vampire and the host. This intriguing rule adds depth to vampire lore, making them not just predators, but complex beings bound by rules. It reminds us that even the supernatural respects human boundaries. Dive into this world of mystery and see how legends shape our understanding of power and control. If this piqued your curiosity, follow me for more myths unraveled.
Some inventions are just wrong. Not illegal, not hidden, just deeply unsettling. Here are 5 real products that feel like they escaped from a dystopian sci-fi movie. Number 1, AI grief chatbots. Some companies let you upload a loved one's texts and voice recordings so you can keep talking to them after they're gone. It's comforting until it starts saying things they never said. Number 2, mind-reading headbands in schools. In parts of China, students wear EEG devices that monitor their focus in real time. The data goes to teachers and sometimes to parents. What happens to the kids who stop paying attention? Number 3, humanoid robots that mimic human emotions. They smile, cry, and respond like real people. But they don't feel anything. And yet, we treat them like they do. Number 4, real-life social credit systems. In some cities, your behavior is tracked and scored. Good score, you get perks. Bad score, you can lose access to travel, jobs, or even dating apps. One wrong move, and you're locked out of society. Number 5.
That's here in America, not other countries. What are we acting like only China does that? America does it. Absolutely.
5, Amazon's employee surveillance. Warehouse workers are tracked down to the second. Stop moving for too long, even to breathe, and you get flagged. They call it efficiency. Others call it something else. Corporate control. These products aren't fiction. They're not prototypes. They already exist. And they're just the beginning.
I will say, you drinking, I would never trust you around my man. Never.
I mean, like, thank God you don't have a man to, like, and high around.
Oh my God. There are way too many companies and bosses that don't take bullying and abuse at work seriously. And we've all talked about quiet quitting, but I would like to coin the term quiet bullying.
Hold on. 20 years ago, she was a cutie. This woman had not her choice because she couldn't get a jock, you know. Not because she wasn't cute enough. She probably don't have enough confidence, you know. Women don't be getting the kinds of men that they want either. Just like guys don't be always getting the girl that they want. So if you didn't know that, understand that. But I could look at her face mold and tell she was a cutie back then. I could tell. She had male callers, absolutely.
There are so many deceptive behaviors that coworkers and bosses get away with because they're not technically illegal. So what do some of these things look like? So quiet bullying would be something like their body language is just always ugly towards you. They're rolling their eyes. They're always looking at you when they're in groups of other people, and then they giggle, constantly CCing your boss in on emails like you're 5 years old and you don't know how to do anything. Speaking over top of you in meetings, constantly trying to get other people on the team against you, including your own boss, in very subtle ways, slowly and over time, but really chipping away at people's perception of you, excluding you from things, like not telling you about in meetings, or say it was your day off and there was some piece of important information that they were supposed to.
That's psychological abuse, psychological and emotional. Well, psychological abuse that leads to emotional abuse, because your emotion, it takes a toll on you. Start to feel bad, and sometimes employers will do this to you if you blow the whistle on them, and that's called retaliation, which is illegal. I was actually able to sue a company, pardon me, because of retaliation. That's big money when, and a lot of companies be retaliating against you. Look for that to be abolished. They're like, it's getting harder and harder to prove retaliation. White people are very good at making you feel like you're crazy. This is what she's talking about. She's calling it quiet bullying, but it's a psychological terrorism. That's why I don't like the North. I like the South better, because the North always pretends like they're not racist. Whereas the South, they'll tell you, we don't like your kind over here. Word? Thanks, Jeb. Let me just go over here then. I appreciate it.
To relay to you, and they don't on purpose to make you look stupid. This can also look like minimizing things when you report something and they act like it's just really not a big deal, or you're, confiding in a coworker about some kind of abuse or bullying or something serious, and they minimize that. Another really big one is stealing credit for your work. And the thing is that while this is something that a lot of people will say, grow up, it's just part of being in the work world, get over it. Sometimes people earn bonuses and get looked at for promotions when they do a good job and when they come up with great creative ideas. And when someone continues to steal your intellectual property and pass it off as their own, and they keep getting favored because of that, it can absolutely wear away at your mental health. So I want to start using the hashtag quiet bullying and start talking about this a little bit more.
Let me also, I don't mean, listen, because I know this is more of the spells of the programming of America. I don't mean white people like y'all are bad. I mean white people do that to other white people. This is a white woman talking about this. She's noticed this. I don't think she's up here talking about this because she said, this is what I do, and I want to show you how much of a baddie I am. Now, she's either seen this or this has happened to her. I'm saying this is something that goes on within white culture heavily. It's white people are mind fuckers. Like, they're really, really good at that, man. They're mad good at it. Like, black people are good at dancing and sports. White folks are good at that. And they do it to each other. So you kind of have to know how to maneuver through that. And this is skill. This is one of the reasons I got a lot of white friends. Because they have, told me the secrets. This is, you got to watch out. Person says this, you got to do this. You got to not respond like that, because he's saying that so that you will respond like that. And we didn't have resources like this in the 80s where you could just watch a video and a person would explain it to you. If you didn't know, you just didn't know. That's kind of an appropriate use of the term. If you know, you know, in my opinion. So don't look at like I'm dissing white people, I'm being racist. I'm saying, white people, stop pretending like you don't know. Like, that's a skill, man. That's a superpower. The other races don't know how to do that, man. I've been around them. They you know what I'm saying? They don't just innately know how to do that. And when white folks, it's like y'all know how to do that from like children, kind of. It's like they pass it on from, I don't know. I'm just saying it seems like that. Look at the white people in the audience not saying nothing. At the same time, they know. They know what it is. And I don't mean to blow up y'all secrets. I'm not trying to blow y'all up. I'm just saying y'all are master manipulators. And she's talking about master manipulation. Any other race of person that was dealing with this stuff that she's talking, especially a black woman, a black man, he would have probably burned the place down dealing with this. He wouldn't have been able to handle it. He would have quit. And that's what this type of behavior is meant to do. It's meant to make you quit, because if they fire you, then they have to pay you unemployment, and they don't want to pay you no money. They just want you to leave. You make them uncomfortable being there, but not because you're black, because you're better at the job than they are. This is another thing that I had to realize, and a couple of other white friends told me. These guys are not that good at their job. I used to work at Walmart. Yeah, I used to work corporate, and like the COs and the CSMs, like the COs, like the co-manager, the COs, they're not that good at their jobs. In fact, they rose in the ranks because of somebody liked them. You didn't just get a promotion like they told us on TV. Work hard and you... If you work hard, it's more like work 60 hours and don't ask for a raise. That's what they mean. They like do my job for me. They like those kinds of people. Those kinds of people get moved up. But you only get moved up so high. You know what I'm saying? And people who are very manipulatable, them people get moved up. So when you go into these types of places, they're intimidated of you, whatever race you are, even other white people. They're intimidated of you unless you know how to play the game. And shout out to white people. They know how to play the game. They know how to keep their head down and just, we don't even use that term in the black community. Keep your head down. A lot of you black people, that's the first time you heard that. You think I'm talking about war or something like, keep your head down so you can get your hair braided. White people came up with that. Keep it, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. That's a diss. That means don't squeak because you don't want them to put oil on you, but we don't know that within my community, and you don't learn it until later on in life. You know what I'm saying? So you be working in these places and you be like, yo, his job is not even hard. And even if you don't want to take his or her job, they know that you could take their job. And that's all the money that they have. They have no skills. They have no talents. You know what I mean? And that's why they don't like you. Not because you're black, dummy. Because they do it to white people. It's not racism. It's just that's the brainwashing. That's the Hollywood. That's the spell that they put on you. Oh, let's make them think it's racism. But really, I suck at my job. I didn't even do anything to get this job. I'm a bootlicker. That's why I got this position. But when you go into the corporate place, you're not a bootlicker. You actually are working hard because you believe the lie that we all were, you believe that. Oh, if I just work hard, this and this and that. And you're working hard. And it would pay off. And these people she's talking about will see you working hard and will be like, nah, we got to get her out of here. We got to get him off of here. And I'm saying they do it to other white people too. So don't just jump and say it's racism. It might be. I'm not saying it isn't. Like DCR says, they're master manipulators any way you slice it. So it could be racism. It could not. It definitely is. They're master manipulators, period. And I'm not saying that to diss people. I'm saying that's a goddamn superpower.
Legal ways to hold people accountable when you can get documentation of real abuse and bullying that's very pervasive, and there's clear evidence of that. But these are the things that happen to so many people so often, and they're so hard to prove, but it's very real, and it really does wear away at people.
So at this point in the trade war, you might be asking yourself, why did the US want to pick a fight with China in the first place? And the truth is, it's not about fair trade like Trump says. It's about survival. And it's not going to stop here. US generals are even predicting outright war this year. To understand why this is all happening, you have to understand globalization, which is a process where the countries around the world become more and more connected and integrated as communication and travel become easier. Since World War II ended and the Cold War began in the 1950s, globalization has taken a very specific form. The imperial systems that the British built were never fully dismantled. They just changed hands to the US and adapted to the changing times. The idea, as J.D. Vance laid out recently, was this.
The idea of globalization was that rich countries would move further up the value chain while the poor countries made the simpler things.
The expectation has been that third world countries would always sell their natural resources and labor for cheap while the West profited off of them. Basically, neo-colonialism, the same effects as colonialism but updated for the 20th century. That's why the West created institutions like the International Monetary Fund or the World Bank, which control the development of third world countries to make sure that they're in line with Western plans. And that's why the US has staged military coups all over the world in any country that wanted to seize control of their own resources. And this expectation is rooted in the same kind of Orientalist thinking that has defined much of Western thought for the past 300 years. But surprise, things haven't worked out that way.
Turns out that the geographies that do the manufacturing get awfully good at the designing of things. As they got better at the low end of the value chain, They also started catching up on the higher end. We were squeezed from both ends.
You see, the problem with China isn't that they have an authoritarian government or that they're being aggressive towards Taiwan or even that they're communist. The issue is that China, a formerly poor country of the third world, has decided to step out of line from its designated place in the world order and challenge the United States. China has played the global capitalist game that the US has started, and they're actually winning. They lead the world in solar, EV, AI, and other advanced technologies. They're the primary trading partner for most of the world. China's digital finance systems is challenging the dominance of the US dollar. The tariffs are creating new alliances between China, South Korea, Japan, with Latin America, and even with the EU. And they're even becoming the moral leader of the world by standing.
So, are we seeing how the world war starts? Are we seeing it? We're seeing it, right? We're seeing, you know what I mean? Because it could look like y'all are all ganging up on America. It could be viewed like that. Like when you say something to defend yourself against LeBron James, who started the conversation by saying, I'm done with the 90s, like that's a slight on you. You're called a hater because you just defended yourself. LeBron isn't called a hater because he threw the first rock. You know, that's what it could be looked at. It could be looked like y'all are gaining up on the world. Therefore, since we got the strongest military, we gotta come at you. I'm not saying that's what is gonna happen. Nobody wants war except for people who want the Antichrist to come out. They want war, but they're not the majority. They just have the majority of the money. But aside from that, nobody wants that. So is this whole tariff and all of that stuff, was that what this was? They was poking a bear? That they was poking a rattlesnake? Because they want the rattlesnake to release its teeth? You tell me in the comments.
With Palestine. And when we look at everything the US is doing right now, the mineral deal in Ukraine, wanting to control Greenland, the tariffs on the whole world, the demonization of immigrants, or even the renewed violence in Palestine, we have to view it all within this larger context. This isn't a trade war. This is a war for control over global finance, for who is at the top of the global world order. And the fight isn't over, but you might want to start brushing up on your Mandarin. The best thing that we can do right now is to band together, brace for this change, organize to resist, and propose real alternatives. If you want to learn how, check out the latest issue of the Conscious Citizens Dispatch, where we're discussing that and a lot more. You can sign up for free through the link in our bio, and if you've been liking my videos, it's also a great way to support our work for as little as $2 a month.
Apparently, the US-Europe trade talks are making no progress.
So now the US is not making progress talking with other white people. You not getting along with Europe? Is this because the Queen died? Because America is still owned by Britain, aren't we? We've decoded that, right? We've seen those TikToks, right?
So Europe is getting ready to retaliate. Europe's chief negotiator has left US meetings feeling like the US is all over the place. So he has no idea exactly what the US's end goal is or what it's trying to achieve. Now, this might sound familiar to you because China said the exact same thing. China straight up refused to negotiate because they said that the US was all over the place and they were getting too many conflicting signals from different parties in the administration. In other words, both Europe and China are saying that talking to the US has been an utter disaster. Europe is considering retaliating not just by adding reciprocal tariffs, but also by adding export controls. Now, they haven't finalized the export controls just yet, but they want them to inflict the maximum amount of pain on the US economy. They also want the export controls to act as a deterrent on future price hikes. Well, this could get interesting.
Okay, so this person says, can you expand on saying Asperger's syndrome is a superpower? Sure. I had a family member who wasn't a blood relative but related through marriage who has it, and he's basically a genius. Well, first, in superhero comic book tropes, they always refer to geniuses as evil, or the evil genius. Or Reed Richards is a genius, probably the most smartest person within the Marvel Universe. Don't believe me? Let's watch this right quick.
Who's a smarter comic book character? Batman or Reed Richards?
Reed Richards.
Reed Richards or Tony Stark?
Reed Richards.
Reed Richards or Lex Luthor?
Reed Richards.
Reed Richards or Mr. Terrific?
If there was anyone close, it would be Terrific, but I've got to go with Reed Richards.
Reed Richards or Moon Girl?
Reed Richards.
Reed Richards or Hank Pym?
Richards.
Reed Richards or T'Challa?
Close, but it's Richards.
Reed Richards or Doom?
Doom could be smarter than Richards. Doom doesn't realize that he is the only thing standing in his own way.
Absolutely.
That's the funny thing about narcissists is people think that narcissists are always focused on themselves. Narcissists are actually more often than not focused on their enemies or the people that they think are in their way. If Doom wasn't so focused on upper decking Richards, perhaps he'd be smarter than him.
Reed Richards or Brainiac?
Brainiac. You were staying terrestrial, but if we're going, if we're reaching out beyond the cosmos, it's Brainiac, a being that is in itself an alien artificial intelligence, an alien semi-artificial intelligence that simply exists to collect knowledge throughout the galaxy, then I think I'm going to go Brainiac.
Yep. Would you say that Brainiac is the smartest in comics?
To a degree. Depends.
If not, who would you compare it to?
I mean, there aren't many that I would compare Brainiac to other than, the god, primordial character.
But then if you want a second opinion, let's ask another guy.
Who's a smarter character, Batman or Reed Richards?
Reed Richards.
Reed Richards or Tony Stark?
Reed Richards.
Reed Richards or Lex Luthor?
Reed Richards.
Reed Richards or Bruce Banner?
Reed Richards.
Reed Richards or T'Challa?
Reed Richards.
Reed Richards or Martian Manhunter?
Reed Richards.
Reed Richards or Dr. Doom?
Reed Richards.
Reed Richards or Moon Girl?
Reed Richards.
Reed Richards or Brainiac?
Ooh, I'm going to say Brainiac on that one.
Brainiac or Shuri?
Brainiac.
Brainiac or the Joker?
Brainiac.
Brainiac or Mr. Terrific?
Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific or Hank Pym?
Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific or Vandal Savage?
Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific's the smartest character in comics?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would you say is next to him?
Reed Richards.
Reed Richards. I figured that much.
There you go.
So Mr. Terrific for DC, Reed Richards for Marvel.
Yeah.
And that's your word. I appreciate you.
got it.
Yes, sir.
He's basically a genius, even though he's not normal in a societal setting. Let me stop there, because it used to be normal in society to hang Negroes, and nobody got in trouble about it. It used to be normal in society to sexualize preteens. Don't believe me? Take a look at this.
So we all hear stories about Hollywood pedophiles, but Brooke Shields' story is absolutely insane. When she was 11 years old, Brooke Shields was cast in the film Pretty Baby alongside Susan Sarandon. And in the film, when she was 11 years old, Brooke played the character Violet, the daughter of a prostitute who lived in a brothel. And disturbingly, in the film, there were actual nude scenes filmed. Fully nude scenes featuring the 11-year-old Brooke Shields. A year before that, though, Brooke Shields and her mother appeared on the cover of New York Magazine. And check out the headline. Meet Terry and Brooke Shields. Brooke is 12, she poses nude. Terry is her mother, she thinks it's swell. That's incredibly disturbing, and it should be noted that the original article, which used to be on the New York Magazine's website, one night suddenly vanished from the web. In 1979, Brooke starred in the movie Just You and Me, Kid, and either her or a body double appeared nude 3 different times in the film. Keep in mind, these were films that were being released widely in theaters. Well, as a minor, Brooke also starred in the film The Blue Lagoon, which featured nude scenes, and the film Endless Love, which got an X rating from the MPAA, which was later edited down to an R rating. Keep in mind, all this while she's underage. Oh yeah, and there's the Playboy situation, which I'm going to talk about in another video. Brooke Shields was absolutely abused by the Hollywood system and taken advantage by pedophiles her whole life. Looking back at all of this in the year 2025, it's just hard to believe that any of this was legal. I know that this was before strict laws were really put into place regarding CP, but it's unbelievable that actual studios stood behind these decisions and asked minors like Brooke Shields to get naked in front of cameras in films that were going to be marketed to the masses.
Even while being a genius, it did limit him in having a normal adult life, as in being able to live by himself or have a steady income. Well, Clark Kent was limited because he had to get dissed by Lois Lane. You bum bitch, I'm Superman. Let's let Patrice O'Neal break it down.
Look, if you go to any other country,
the women treat you differently. You understand that.
Look at Artie hanging on your every word.
Yeah, I'm no George Clooney over here.
Artie's like, yeah, right.
I mean, you've been to England, Howard? Let's jump in there.
I have been to England, yes.
All the men, it's like I say, men here have superpowers, but we don't know it because we with these Krypton bitches, and they don't give us no respect.
Right.
But you go to England, all the men have the skin on their penis. They don't circumcise over there.
Foreskin, yeah.
And so when the first time a woman saw my penis in England, she went, "Whoa, it's lovely, it's gorgeous,
right?
It's beautiful."
So you have superpowers over there.
You're amazing in every other
we
country
don't
except for
realize
this
it
one.
because we live on Krypton.
We live on Krypton.
If we went to Earth with our new superpowers,
where the sun's different, you got to go to different sun.
We need to get away from the red sun and go to the yellow sun.
Of Krypton.
Right. Now I get it.
Furthermore, Superman, the illegal alien that he was limited by kryptonite. Human beings have limitations. It just is what it is. I know there's all different levels to it, but what do you mean by Asperger's being a superpower? I think I just explained it pretty well. If I didn't, perhaps I'll do a longer video and we'll go deeper into it. Thanks for asking.
Shit, I don't even know. Like, I can't even tell you that. Like, you know, like, fighting, I don't know, like, never know, you know, like.
Thank you to my channel members. We said thank you. Ha! To my channel members. No diddy when I say member. Thank you. To my channel members. Fuck you if you're not a member. Nah, I'm just kidding, but seriously, join. Thank you